Hello, hello. This is Kai Marie here, and welcome to the Healing Element podcast. We have a slight change tonight. I had advertised that I was going to have a guest, Shevel Mavins, on. We were going to talk about religious extremism, but she was unable to join us, so we're working to reschedule that. So it's just me tonight, and it's actually going to be a quick broadcast. And I wanted to bring up something that I saw trending in the news. Usually I don't bring up too much current event stuff that's going on, at least something specific. I might bring up current events in broad themes. But since it's just me tonight, I thought that I would bring this up to get your perspective on it. Now, I don't know if you guys are active on social media, especially Twitter. You might have seen that there's this video going around of people commenting on a rapper who is in a Beats commercial. And so the rapper's name is, I'm horrible, guys, at these. I don't know any new rappers, so I apologize. I think I'm showing my age right now. But the rapper is it Flo Milli? I've never heard of her before. But apparently she's the woman. If you saw this Beats commercial, she's a Black woman who is in the car, in a vehicle. The vehicle stops. I'm not going to play it on YouTube or on this broadcast because I don't know if it'll get flagged or something, so I'm not going to do that. But you can Google it, just Google Beats commercial, and it will pop up, and you'll see several articles of people commenting on the commercial. So anyway, she's in the vehicle stops, she's looking out the window, she sees something that catches her eye, she jumps out the vehicle, and she walks up to this statue, Confederate statue, and she then turns towards the statue and then starts dancing and then kind of flips her hand away from the statue when she's done dancing. And that's supposed to be the clapback. And I think that this is problematic for several reasons. Number one, when you look at the experience of Black people, specifically African Americans in this country, and what they have endured through slavery, Jim Crow, and every other type of traumatic experience, to reduce her, a Black woman, kind of showing her strength or power through dancing in front of a statue. I'm not quite sure the message that was supposed to be sent. You know, if anything, if you're going to, yes, yeah, Baseman who's joining us says, why is dancing always associated with Black people? Yes, and especially trying to give the appearance that this dance move of her stepping in front of the statue is a sign of strength, right? Because that's what it was trying to show, is her doing this dance, I guess, showing she's free, right? Something that this Confederate, this statue was representative of. I can't remember the gentleman's name. But, you know, showing him, I guess, that she won, you know, she's free to do what she pleases. But my thing is other groups, and many times when I talk about these type of scenarios, I will bring up the Jewish community. And my question is, would Beats or another type of company, would you find it appropriate for someone in the Jewish community to do a dance in front of Hitler and call that the clapback? You would not think that would be appropriate, right? You would think that that is not an honorable thing to do, to present to a community, to engage in, because you have respect for that community. And you understand the terror that they've gone through. You understand the horrific brutality that they experienced, their ancestors experienced. So you would not at all present a commercial idea of that community dancing in front of some type of Nazi statue. But yet someone within the Beats media market thought that that was a good idea. So I think that causes us to question again, as I always have my spidey sense about mainstream media. And when I see something like that, I think that even shows more so what is the level of respect that this community, now when I say community, I'm talking about the society, I should say the society in which we live. What level of respect does society have for the Black community and what they've endured? Because if you have a statue of a Confederate, someone from the Confederacy, right, you can gather from that this was probably a person that supported slavery, which supported the inhumane treatment of another people. And the concept was reviewed by senior leaders and had testing screenings. Yes. So this went through the desk of many people, right? Many people saw the sketch, maybe it was a sketch first or however it was presented, and everyone okayed it. And there could have been people who are Black in the room, right? And that's the other thing, when there is a Black person in the room, and I'm not making excuses, but just from personal experience, just because you have a seat at the table, it doesn't mean that you have any power that comes with it. So if this is something that upper management wanted to push through, and you as a Black person is like, I don't really like this, I feel uncomfortable, but you know that in order to either move up or to continue to have your position within that company, that you're going to have to get with the program and you're going to have to co-sign it whether you're comfortable or not. So that's another story, right, about this, when we have Black people who are presented in certain type of roles, believing that means that that's come with power. Many times it's just symbolism. But going back to the commercial, because I can go on a whole nother tangent with that. So if you saw the commercial, drop a message and let me know your thoughts. I guess a part of me, to be honest with you guys, I'm just tired. Like, I'm tired of mainstream media putting out this type of message to our community. And I know they're just doing what they're supposed to do, but it does get exhausting because I know young people watch that, and videos like that, and let me know if you agree, it diminishes over time, right? It diminishes the impact of what the Black folks in this country have experienced in our history. Having reduced to someone dancing in front of a statue, meaning that it's a gotcha to, I guess, the establishment that wanted to keep her enslaved. So I know the other part to this is, well, she was a willing participant, right? You had to find someone that was willing to do this, to engage in the dance, saw this, it was presented before her, and she said yes, obviously. I don't know anything about her management. I can't speak to that. I can only speak about the commercial, what was in front of us. So for this, I wanted to kind of bring in the work of Dr. Joy DeGruy. Before I do that, Baseman says more distractions for us and to get us not to do anything concrete. And another thing, before I jump into Dr. Joy DeGruy, there's another gentleman that has had a profound impact on my life and me understanding the system in which I live. And his name is Neely Fuller. I always want to call him Dr. Neely Fuller because to me he's at that level, but it's Neely Fuller. And he explains the behavior of Black people, right? And what I want to get to is when he talks about the importance of Black people to always operate in constructive behavior. Always operate. So before you engage in any activity, is it constructive? What's the outcome? And, to be honest, some people may consider that boring after a while, because there's really no drama, right? If you're engaged in something that's constructive, it's, you're pretty focused and you have your intention and you know exactly why you're doing something to produce a certain type of outcome. And he encourages Black people, especially since we're living under such a system of white supremacy that's meant to dominate. He encourages, yells from the rooftops for the Black community to always engage in constructive behavior. And what we see in mainstream media is a lot of us not engaging in constructive behavior. And so what the problem is when you see a lot of us not engaging in that behavior where we're not thinking, we're not kind of controlling our own destiny, then it always puts us into a situation where there's an image of us presented to us that we don't have the answers for ourselves and we can't create the answer for ourselves. And we're always looking externally for those answers to come to us. And so I know I said a lot there, but it really still all circles back to what we accept as a community and what we're comfortable for other people putting into us. Because if you are constantly looking externally for someone to do something for you, now I'm not even getting into the reparations argument. That's a whole nother thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your own level of respect, your own level of value. If you're searching externally for that in a system that wasn't designed for you to succeed, you're going to have problems. And it's concerning because, again, we have young people who are watching this. A lot of our young people, they don't know our history. They might find that funny. They might not think it's a big deal. But again, as I had said, when I opened up this dialogue tonight, I asked, would such a company, such as Beats, would you present this type of commercial idea to someone in the Jewish community for them to dance in front of a Nazi statue? And I think you wouldn't do it. And I think that many people in the community, whether it's Jewish community or outside the Jewish community, would be outraged and find it insulting that someone would be asked of such a thing. But yes, as Baseman said, there will always be participating. There will always be Black actors who will participate. And then, then there's the money that's attached behind it. And, a lot of these celebrities, especially these artists, maybe money's getting tight because they're not touring. That's how a lot of them have their money. So it's kind of like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. That's why the system of white supremacy, it has to be dismantled so we can replace it with a system of justice, because it can put certain artists, especially Black artists, at a certain difficulty, right, financially, because of the system in which we're in. But I wanted to just quickly, again, go back to post-traumatic slave syndrome. And again, if you're just joining tonight, we're talking about the Beats commercial. Let me know in the comments if you saw the Beats commercial. It's quite the buzz on Twitter, in which a rapper, her name is Flo Milli. She's dancing in front of a Confederate statue. And again, I'm just saying how I think that is highly inappropriate and highly offensive. I'm not saying we give all of this our energy, but I am saying that we need to be mindful of what different companies are putting in front of our eyes. And we need to make sure that we're having conversations with our kids about what's acceptable and what's not. So why would someone possibly engage and see this, right, as a Black person and say, yeah, this is cool, there's no problem with that? Dr. Joy DeGruy shares with us in her book, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, which I talk about all the time, which is basically her book and her theory had a lot to do with me even starting the Healing Element podcast. So thank you, Dr. Joy DeGruy. One day I will have her on this podcast. One day I will. But anyway, she talks about 3 categories of behavior for post-traumatic slave syndrome. And she says that it's vacant esteem, ever-present anger, and racist socialization. So vacant self-esteem is the state of believing oneself to have little or no worth, exacerbated by the group and societal pronouncement of inferiority. Vacant esteem is the net result of three spheres of influence: society, our community, and our family. Society's influence is us, its institutions, laws, policies, and media. Communities in which we were influence us through establishing norms and encouraging conformity to society at large. Our families influence us in ways in which we are raised and groomed to take our place as our parents see it in our community and society. With these influences, all promote a disparaging and limiting identity to which we believe we are confined. Vacant esteem can be the result. It is important to note that vacant esteem is a belief about one's worth, not a measure of one's actual worth. So it's the perception of what your value is. So for you guys that are watching, what do you think what would it say about your value if you if you feel that there's nothing wrong with someone presenting to you a commercial in which you're dancing in front of a Confederate statue, and maybe they fashioned as, this is just some Black girl magic. This is showing how Black women got the power. I'm not even gonna go there about the Black girl magic. So many different episodes are coming to me out of this one episode. So what is that saying if you co-sign that? What is that saying about the esteem, the value that you have of yourself? And the thing is, when you look at vacant esteem, this is one thing I was talking to Dwayne about, my fiance. I was telling him that about Dr. Joy Zagru, the vacant self-esteem, and the two other categories of behavior. And he was like, well, Kai, like if there's vacant self-esteem, it has to be filled with something. Something has to replace what should be there. So if your own sense of value and worth isn't present, it's going to be replaced by something else. Now, if you reside in a society which has been constructed in a way that does not value you, your life, your thoughts, your body, mind, and spirit, then what will it pour into you? So when you see images of that society telling you, like, listen, we're going to put this Black person up here, right? And this is your Black girl magic. This is your Black girl power. This is how your Black men should look and behave. This is how your Black women should look and behave. Always take a step back. Look at the larger picture, and always remember behind every image that's presented in front of you, there's a message behind it. So if you're listening, what are your thoughts on what type of image do you think, or what do you think? Say we have a cup and it's vacant of esteem, right? So what do you think the creators of this commercial was trying to pour into that cup to tell Black folks? Do you think they were telling us anything positive about who we are, what Black women represent? Again, always entertainment, right? Even in, a Confederate statue, which is showing a period of American history that was horrific for us, and somehow it turning into entertainment. And to that point, it makes me even think of a lot of what we see of some of the police interactions with our Black men, especially our Black women, many times capturing the death of Black men and Black women at the hands of police officers that had taken some very questionable actions. And it becomes almost entertainment, right? It almost becomes something that you're watching, and it's circulating on social media. And it's troubling when the trauma of a people is entertainment, because that means that folks have been completely desensitized. And so when did this society become desensitized? Well, if you start off with bringing over people on slave ships and enslaving people, the damage was done at that point. Then when you have that, you have young white boys, white girls growing up, seeing Black bodies enslaved, seeing Black bodies tortured, mutilated, that you are completely desensitized. and you're not looking at those people as humans. So now fast forward to the present, you're seeing a woman dancing in front of a Confederate statue. I don't even think there's a emotional connection. I think there's almost this thought that Black people have like no type of feeling. We're just kind of like existing. Let me know if you'd agree with that. It's just kind of like we're here, we have bodies, but we're void of emotion. And I saw that, and I did a workshop last year talking about the research that was done years and years ago, medical research that was done, also though still relevant to this day, of there's belief by doctors, therapists, that Black folks didn't feel pain, right? That we didn't need medication. There was a doctor, a GYN, I hate to even call him that, but I think his last name was Madison. If I'm not saying, I hope I'm saying that correct. I will edit it if it's not. But he's called the father of gynecology, and he honed his skills, if you will, of conducting surgeries, vaginal surgeries of women. He honed his skills on Black slaves and Black female slaves. And he used no anesthesia because he believed that Black people didn't really feel pain, right? So when he perfected his skills, that's when he went into white society. He performed the procedure on white women, but he used anesthesia. So when medical science is kind of built on that type of belief, ideology, when you see things play out right now, how it is in society, it kind of makes sense, right? So the only thing is how do we as a community respond? And some things are worth our energy and some are not. But I think most importantly is that we have conversations with our children, at least with each other, to say, yeah, that's not appropriate. If you want to boycott, do whatever you have to do. That makes you feel like you're taking a stand, because you don't want anyone to minimize your experience and your history, especially when the horrific experiences that Black folks have faced in this country has never been fully recognized, and the repair has never been made as well. So I'm going to wrap up here. I think I didn't want to go through all of the categories for PTSS, post-traumatic slave syndrome. I just wanted to touch upon that vacant self-esteem, because I want to think about, right, as an artist, I'm not an artist, I don't sing, you never want to hear me sing. But if somebody presented something like that to me, right, that type of commercial, how would I respond? And if I say yes, if I go along with it like this rapper did, does that say anything about what I believe about what I come from? Or is there pressure on me to get a check so I can take care of my family? I don't know. It's just questions that I'm throwing out there. But what I am going to say is for sure is the Beats commercial is highly inappropriate and highly offensive. Again, you would never ask a community, someone in a Jewish community, to dance in front of a Nazi symbol. Wouldn't do it. People would be outraged. But in our community, you're dealing with a lot of trauma over the years, continuous trauma, and at no point never addressing it. So you get very dysfunctional behavior, and now we have to deal with that, right? We have to deal, as a community, we now have to deal with the aftermath of continuous trauma. So I just wanted to hop on real quick, have a quick discussion about this this video. If you like this video, please like, please share, please leave a comment. Please make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell to know the next time I go live. And I will be here next Tuesday. Next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Make sure you join me. I'm going to have a guest, very special guest. We're going to be talking about substance use and the cycle of substance use in families and how you can break that cycle. So please make sure you join. And then also really quick, in February next month, I will have a workshop with two other women, DK Dyson and Shevel Mavins. We're going to be doing a workshop called Healing Ancestral Wounds Through Ancestral Wisdom, in which this is a workshop designed for and by Black women. So it's a Black women only event, in which we will share with everyone who joins us kind of what white supremacy is, how it has impacted us, mind, body, spirit, and also genetically, and what we can begin to do to heal. So please make sure you sign up to that. Go to my website, kaimarie.com, to register. Tickets are available, but they are limited. So please show your support and sign up for that. So thank you guys for joining me tonight. And I look forward to seeing you again right here on the Healing Element Podcast. Make sure you check me out on Instagram at KaiMarie_LLC, or my other Instagram is the Healing Element Podcast, also of course on Facebook and LinkedIn. I think that's all my social media right now. So you guys have a good night and Happy New Year. I don't even think I said Happy New Year, but you guys, Happy New Year. It's 2021. And this year, why don't we, my whole thing is living holistically. I rebranded my business, so it's all about holistic living. So let's make sure that we're really prioritizing our mind, body, and spirit, nourishing ourselves through our actions. So therefore, we have to make sure that we're always being constructive. So you guys have a good night, and I'll check in soon.